The fire cracked gently inside the old iron stove, its warmth dancing in golden light across the wooden walls of the lighthouse. Outside, the wind whispered across the cliffs, brushing past the windows like a memory that hadn't yet faded. Louis sat alone in the lighthouse keeper's chair, the same one his father had used, and his father before him. The sea, vast and unknowable, stretched beyond the rocks, and the sound of the waves was steady, soft, and ancient. On the table before him lay a bundle of letters. Dozens, perhaps more. Yellowed paper, ink fading, but the string that held them was new, tied by Louis's own hands, as if anchoring something fragile. He hesitated for a long while. Then finally, he untied the string and pulled free the first envelope. It was dated November 1941. He turned it over and for a moment simply looked at the handwriting. Delicate, slanted slightly to the right. It had been years since he last held one of Clara's letters. Years since her voice lived anywhere but in memory. But tonight was different. He opened the envelope and began to read aloud, to no one but the fire, the waves, and perhaps the stars. Dear Louis, I hope this letter finds you somewhere warm, though I imagine you're out there on the water, under grey skies and colder winds. The radio said your ship passed through Dover last week. I stood by the shore for a moment, just in case. You probably don't remember me. Clara Whitmore, from the Red Cross canteen on Pelham Street. You stopped in once for tea. You looked tired. You smiled when I gave you an extra biscuit. I'm writing because I think you looked like someone who needed a letter. Someone who might want to be reminded of home, even if only in words. So if you don't mind, I'll keep writing. You don't have to write back. Unless, of course, you want to. The sky here is grey today, but the trees haven't given up. The leaves are still gold, red and stubborn. I suppose that's what we all are right now. A little stubborn. Stay safe, Louis. Clara. Louis held the letter gently, as though it might crumble with time. He remembered the way it felt to read that first letter aboard a cold steel ship, the sound of the engines humming low beneath his bunk, the smell of salt and oil in the air, and then, that letter, a lifeline wrapped in paper. He folded it again, carefully. I didn't write back right away, he whispered, but I wanted to. The letters continued over the months, some short, some longer. But it was this first one, simple and unexpected, that had changed everything. A gust of wind brushed against the lighthouse walls. Louis reached for the next envelope, dated 1 month later, December 3rd, 1941. The storm was coming. He remembered this one well. The paper had arrived soaked and chilled in the captain's pouch, smuggled aboard between orders and maps. It had found him in the middle of the Atlantic, just as the sea turned mean and the sky began to fall. He opened it slowly. Dear Louis, it snowed this morning, just for a minute. The flakes melted before they hit the ground, but still, it felt like winter whispered your name. I've thought about that tea shop again. You looked like you carried the sea in your shoulders. I wonder if that's how all sailors walk, balancing waves no one else can see. There's a cat who visits our porch now. I've named him Captain. He doesn't listen to anything I say. Just like you, I imagine. They say another storm is coming. I hope it misses you, or if it must come, that you ride through it the way you always do. Stay warm. I've put you in my thoughts tonight, just in case that helps. Clara. Outside, the storm howled. Louis remembered standing on the deck as waves crashed over the bow, men scrambling, shouting, praying. The wind tore through every seam in the ship. That night, they lost 2 men to the sea. The ocean gave no reasons, and yet, below deck, amidst chaos, he read Clara's words twice. That was the first time I wrote back, he said softly, his voice nearly lost beneath the crackle of the fire. I told her about the storm, about the silence afterward, and for the first time, I told someone what it felt like to be afraid. He placed the second letter down beside the first. The fire crackled, the sea sighed, and for a long moment, the only sound in the lighthouse was the slow breath of memory. There were more letters, so many more, each one a thread tied between two souls, one drifting through the war and the other waiting on shore, with tea, biscuits, and a stubborn hope that words could cross oceans. Louis leaned back in his chair, eyes on the waves outside the window. "That was the beginning," he said, "of something I didn't understand until much later." The wind outside grew quiet, as if listening.